Ethereum price well down from all-time highs and continues to remain static, trading around the $1,500 mark. Is there going to be a bounce back? We're going to look at some Ethereum news as well as some chart analysis today to see where Ethereum is going to go in the coming days, and some extremely bullish news that's going to show why Ethereum is going to be trading at more than $10,000 this year. Guys, welcome to the House of Crypto. On this channel, I make videos about Ethereum, Bitcoin, and altcoins, bringing you the latest news and chart analysis to help you make money in the space of crypto. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button on the way in to be kept up to date with the latest happening. Without further ado, let's jump into the video. First piece of news over on CoinDesk: Canada's CI Global files for what would be the world's first Ether ETF. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that other people are going to be able to invest. It's another gateway into the markets, allowing more institutional money and big money to flow in. Okay, so it's knocking down the barriers to entry. There's already Bitcoin ETFs out there. There's two that have already been approved in Canada, so there's no reason as to why Ethereum wouldn't also get this investment as well. So if approved, the ETF would trade on the Toronto Stock Exchange under the ticker ETHX. Okay, in an announcement, the firm said it proposed CI Galaxy Ethereum ETF would be the first ETF in the world to invest directly in Ether, the native cryptocurrency of the Ethereum network. Galaxy Digital Capital Management LP will act as an Ether subdivider and execute trading on behalf of the ETF. This is a way for people who may be a bit scared of the crypto space to be able to invest in crypto indirectly. This is really good news because it means a lot of larger institutional money as well as private retail have now another gateway to get involved in the crypto space. The next piece of news in Ethereum's core development. At the moment, we know there's a lot of talk about Ethereum gas fees, the launch of Ethereum 2.0, and when all these things are going to happen. We know it's going to be around this year, but this is like the next step that's going to give us a confirmed date on when these things are going to happen, which overly is going to be massively beneficial in the long term. Ethereum core developers eye mid-April for Berlin hard fork. So if you look at the roadmap for Ethereum, each of the pivotal points is named after maybe a famous city or something like that, similar to how Cardano is named after famous people. So we got Berlin hard fork, but the hard fork will facilitate live swapping Ethereum for proof of work to a proof of stake blockchain. Okay, so this is the main last step that's required to be able to move towards the Ethereum 2.0 update later on this year. Okay, Ethereum developers have scheduled the Berlin hard fork for April the 14th. It might happen maybe slightly before or slightly after, give or take a few days, according to an Ethereum meeting that happened on last Friday. Okay, the hard fork includes various optimizations for contracts, including gas efficiencies, updates to how code is read to Ethereum virtual machine, and other exchanges to protect against denial of service attacks. Okay, so it's going to add a good deal of security, but the key thing we're looking at here is gas efficiency. As we know at the moment, a lot of people have put off trading Ethereum because gas fees are pretty much running at an all-time high. This is also going to lead towards moving towards the EIP 1559, which is going to be burning of gas fees. So at the moment, it's an inflationary asset. We talked about this before, which means every time there's new information put on the blockchain, miners are paid in Ethereum, and that's one of the main benefits for the miners. But also it means that there's more and more Ethereum flooding in all the time, which means the Ethereum we hold is perhaps depreciating. However, the burning of gas fees is a really good thing. Now, what that means actually isn't actually making everyone happy. So in terms of miners on Ethereum, they're obviously being rewarded and they've been making a huge amount of money. And there's a bit of disagreement across the different mining pools, with F2 pool sort of saying that they're very for this because they know in the long term Ethereum needs these upgrades to be able to remain profitable. And that they're more interested in sort of the technology behind the development of Ethereum, and they understand that the benefits along with it. So Ethereum's biggest mining pools take opposing stances. So Spark Pool and F2 Pool are the latest to take a public stance on EIP 1559 plan. F2 Pool said it's supporting the proposal, which could reduce miners' transactional revenue, while Sparkpool signals a no. With Sparkpool on board, the opposing sides has a combined hash rate of over 50% at present. Okay, so huge, huge sort of opposition on this. Both sort of very big Chinese mining companies, and potentially will stand to sort of lose a bit in terms of their profitability. However, if you think about the amount of Ethereum that's actually being traded at the moment, it's possibly down on what it would be because of gas fees being so high, not being very efficient, and being a bit slower. So, with the upgrades, it will reduce the amount of time for transactions to take place, as well as the fees, which will mean Ethereum isn't able to grow significantly more, which is obviously going to be beneficial in the longer term for these mining companies. Now, on the opposite side of things, we've also got Sparkpool saying that they're not interested. Other companies, Bitfly, if we come over to here on Twitter, we've been observing the situation, the community around the world. So the Ether mine is against adopting EIP 1559 in its current state because we believe the Ethereum future may be at risk. Okay, so obviously, guys, they stand to lose a lot of money because the amount of fees that they can earn are going to be they're going to be looking to reduce. Another piece of news I wanted to bring to you. So I'm currently over here in Beijing, China, and a lot of news, there's a lot of things happening in the crypto space in China. Okay, so a lot of money, probably the most money flowing around in crypto is actually happening in China. Many of the exchanges are Chinese. Many of the trading platforms that you might be using are also in China. Chinese companies that have nothing to do with crypto are pivoting to mining. So what does that mean? That means like big engineering companies, big e-commerce companies. They have nothing to do with crypto, but maybe they've got a bit of spare cash on the side, and they're starting to set up these mining pools. Why are they doing that? Because there's a huge future ahead. So there's a lot of people putting in comments right now on my videos, on other people's videos, saying that Ethereum is BS. It's a crap token and everything's going wrong with it. Guys, I understand if you bought in at $2,000 the other day and you're currently at $1,500, then it might be a little bit scary. But think long term. That's like we've been down for about 5 days and everyone's going, oh, it's rubbish. I'm not making any money anymore. We got kind of greedy. Everyone, expectations are that we're going to be making 10% every day, which is great when it happens, and it happens for like a week and a half at a time. But guys, be more patient. Everything good has to be waited for. We can't get everything sort of flying at the moment. Okay, we see Cardano here going up 25% in one day, Stellar up 6.2, Bitcoin up 1.3, and Ethereum down a little. So in terms of why Ethereum is actually a very solid bet, we talked about all the news, guys. This is only going to serve well for Ethereum. We probably will be going sideways for the next sort of few days. We may even see a little bit more of a drop, and we'll look at the Ethereum US dollar chart in a moment. But I want to draw your attention here to the Ethereum versus Bitcoin chart. As we've seen for the last probably couple of weeks, we've seen Ethereum take a big bounce off of this big consolidation pattern, sort of 2 to 3 year old consolidation pattern. But as you see, guys, we're lowering towards this area here. We may see it come down and take a bounce here, but we're also seeing a line here of potential resistance, which we've bounced off, where we could see Ethereum coming up hard against Bitcoin once more. Now, I know what it feels like. It feels like when we're down, that days go slower and, forever is going to be down. But in terms of the news that's coming, Ethereum is more than likely going to be hitting those sort of $10,000 levels, potentially even more. You see people quoting $70,000, $50,000 like BitBoy Crypto, etc. It's difficult to make these sort of insane predictions, but I guarantee you that your Bitcoin that your Ethereum that you're holding, as well as Bitcoin that you're holding right now, in 6 months' time, if you sell right now, you're going to be nothing but full of regret. Because at the moment, guys, this is when we buy. Everyone gets all like hyped up and pumped up when Ethereum is sitting at around $2,000 like it was the other day, and that's when everyone was buying and getting excited. But actually, we buy on these days when everyone's sort of feeling a bit sorry for themselves, right? That's when we get in at good value. If you buy now and maybe it takes another drop for $100, another $200, then maybe you can load up some more. But buying at the end of a peak is when we get our fingers burned. But actually, these are great opportunities, guys. We should feel happy when the market's maybe a little bit down, because it's a good opportunity for us to buy more. And over time, with this Ethereum news keep coming in, Ethereum is looking very, 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 very bullish, right? So this is nothing. This is nothing we haven't seen before, guys. We look back, we've seen these little drops. Okay, we've had a few days where we've been slowly sort of tailing off, but over time, guys, it's nothing crazy. If you look back to the last bull cycle, Ethereum was doing the same thing, where it's coming up and then having the odd sort of cool off periods. Now, what I want to draw your attention to is, where we are right now and what could be playing out. So I bring your attention over to the 4-hour here. This blue line is the previous, just below, in fact, the previous all-time high. Okay, so I think it's around 14, something around 14.17, maybe just a little bit higher than this. And as you see, guys, the previous all-time high way back in 2017 has acted like a really solid piece of support so far. In terms of the RSI, we've kind of got back into this area where we're no longer oversold, but we've also bounced off every time we come down towards this oversold level. We've bounced off strongly. I want to draw your attention to this bounce here and this potential bounce here. Now, what does that mean for us? That could potentially be looking at drawing into a double bottom big W pattern, okay, which is what we're paying attention to at the moment. If that plays out, then we're looking from this point here down to this point here, and that will take us back up, pretty much back up towards this pink line here, which would be again putting us into all-time high territory. Now, this is on the 4-hour. It's not going to happen overnight, but there's also another pattern I want to draw your attention to. So we've also, if we were to look at a shorter term, we've also got this sort of W pattern developing here, again, which wouldn't see a huge bounce because it's a smaller pattern, and that would then potentially just bring us back up above this level here. However, one thing I am sort of starting to notice is this consolidation pattern, this triangle pattern here, okay? So I think realistically we're going to be going sideways perhaps for a few more days, maybe even up to a week, and then it will be interesting to see where we play out. Now, these patterns, as we've seen before, we've been coming up into them as bullish continuation patterns, and we've seen them kind of like consolidate and break to the upside. Now, as you can see, we're in a bit of a downtrend here, so it wouldn't be a surprise to see Ethereum move further down on this. And what we could see is perhaps it kind of following out, and then we would see whether it's going to break here to the downside, in which case our next level would be around 1278, or whether we break to the upside. Okay, so we need to wait to see whether this pattern continues. If we come up again and bounce, then I'm pretty sure this pattern that we're seeing is really solid. So in the short term, we could take a bounce down to the 1278 level, but that still, isn't going to indicate that it's all over for Ethereum. Nothing but, in terms of the longer term, there's nothing but good news to come and bullish upside potential. So what, I keep seeing comments, like pretty negative comments about Ethereum, and people telling you, oh, you're telling me it could go up or down. It can go up or down at the moment when we're in these patterns. We need to wait to see how these patterns play out. Once we get down here, then it might be a bit more, then it's definitely more viable for someone to give you it's going to go up or down in the short term. But I want to bring you out, okay, when we're looking at these patterns like this is when we need to kind of bring ourselves out and look at the bigger picture. Stop thinking in terms of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. Yeah, obviously it'd be great if we could make $1 million overnight, but bring your mind out and look at how we're going to get potentially a 10x return for the year. Okay, look at like Warren Buffett and stuff, the biggest investors. They look to make like 15% a year. Okay, so don't be greedy, right? 15% compared to making 1,000%. Slightly bigger picture option to take here. Now, obviously, there are different things. I'm really quite bullish at the moment on DOT. DOT's having some really exciting news coming through it. And in fact, DOT today is up 5.5%. Cardano, obviously, very big things. And these are both platforms that are looking to solve the problems with Ethereum. But obviously, Ethereum is as well sorting its own issues out, guys. It's obviously the second biggest cryptocurrency, not just because it's been around a bit longer, but perhaps than others, but because it's a really solid platform, and there's such exciting upside potential for it. Guys, if you agree with me and you believe there's also going to be a 10x or perhaps even bigger, maybe even the 20x return, make sure you leave a comment down below. Guys, if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you hit that like button and turn that thumb blue. It only takes 2 seconds, but is much appreciated. Make sure you stick around for the next upcoming episode from the House of Crypto. I'll be looking potentially at Polkadot, also maybe going to look into Cardano, as well as some other altcoins. Thanks very much. Hope you have a good day, and I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.